All right, Knights of Apollo, what is up, guys? Welcome back to another glorious battle. This is a 3 vs 3 siege battle on Rome 2, a subscribers battle replay. And I will reveal who it is at the end of the battle, of course. But we have a great matchup here with some really strong defending factions. And then on the attack, I would say, you know, still pretty strong, but not as strong as the defenders, generally speaking, right? So let's go ahead and jump in. But by the way, don't forget to sit back, relax, get some snacks and drinks, and of course, don't forget to like the video, share it, and subscribe. All right, anyway, so let's start with the defenders. We got Syracuse here, so the Greek colony. So you're gonna see a lot of like Greek units. There's nothing too unique about Syracuse, though they have a cool history, and I like their color scheme. And then next to them, we have the Galatians, a fan favorite of the barbarian type. So they have a lot of Galatian legionaries, which are absolutely deadly and very cost effective. And then finally, we have Pontus. And Pontus is like the best of both worlds. You get a little taste of the East, and you get a little taste of the West. You get a little bit of Greek and Eastern influence in one. It's pretty cool. So Pontus here on the battlefield. Let's go ahead and look at the defenders now. So you can see there is a fight going on already, but this was like I don't know what Syracuse was honestly planning there. I guess they were just trying to see if they could get this tower by surprise. But Carthage is on the defense with some Gallic warriors. And then, yeah, Carthage, of course, is the king of mercenaries. They have a lot of mercenary troops that you can muster to the field. And then over here, we have the Iceni. The Iceni, they're not... Honestly, I think they're better on defense than attack because they actually don't have access to archers. They only have slingers. So it can be kind of difficult on attack with that kind of setup, but on defense... I mean, notice right here, you have the high ground. Slingers do great when they have the high ground. They can just, you know, because they're kind of like crossbows. It's more of a direct fire. But slingers are really good at heavily armored troops. And then we have the Egyptians, which again is a very unique faction because like Pontus, it's it's mostly Greek. But there is a little taste of Egypt in the roster as well, with like the cultists of Sobek, and stuff like that. But generally speaking, at this time in Egyptian history, very much Greek, very much Greek influenced, and but again, like Pontus, they have a little taste of different, the Egyptian flair. Now, let's go back over here to this front line where we can see that finally we have another wave of militia hoplites from Syracuse. They are entering into the walls, and they're also there's a destroyed section of the wall, which I assume they're going to go ahead and attack pretty soon. And here we go. Here comes Pontus full force. 1, 2, 3, 4 towers about to embrace the wall with the long arm of this drawbridge, and out comes the vicious men of Pontus, ready to try to seize this settlement with all of their might. There they go. It's a little chaotic, always is. And here comes some artillery fire coming in as well, risking some friendly fire, but dang it, it's a risk they're willing to take. Yeah, but Pontus coming in, and it's always chaotic with the siege towers because your troops kind of trickle in. So sometimes commanders will try to kind of sit and kind of mass up, then charge in. Kind of like what they're doing here. Here comes another wave of artillery. Mostly misses, but I do think they hit a little bit of the mercenary troops of Carthage. Here comes a push of mercenary Samnite warriors. An absolute deadly class of soldier. Very good unit. Is it the best infantry in the game? Absolutely not. Is it the best infantry in the ancient world? Probably not. But they're up there. and they're very good. So these Samnite warriors are definitely going to lead the way for the Syracuse soldiers as they embrace the enemy in the open, I don't know, courtyard, open marketplace of the village. Here comes Carthaginian reinforcements. Once again, another mercenary melee troop. And they're kind of forming up on the wing here. It looks like they're going to try to go around, it looks. Potentially put some pressure behind the enemy. Galatia now joining their Syracuse allies. Sending in Galatian swords. And yeah, just Galatian swords, which is the lower end of their infantry, which makes sense. A lot of players like to send in their middle to lower tier units and save the elites for later, but you can see the attackers have just been unrelenting with their amount of troops. It was like a blink of an eye. They went from nothing to everything. And now they have so many troops on the field here. It's raining down hell upon the defenders and really the attackers as well as they risk friendly fire. But so far, nothing too devastating has happened for the attackers in terms of friendly fire. Now the Iceni are sending over their sword band to protect the flank because Pontus is threatening the flank. This would be the right flank of the defenders. And now we've got more artillery fire coming in and actually focusing down the bowmen of Egypt as they fall back and reposition. Losing bowmen early would be devastating. Mercenary Iberian swordsmen, the men from the Iberian Peninsula. A great addition to the Carthaginian army. Sending forward. Now under the banner of Carthage, they serve the great Carthaginian Empire. And now they sit in reserve waiting to strike. The artillery continues to focus its fire on skirmishers. Once again, another Iberian unit here. We got some slingers. Very skilled, very deadly, accompanied with another deadly force of Greek unit, the mercenary Cretan archers. Some of the finest archers in all the ancient world. They're just kind of opening fire and supporting the troops as they maintain the front line. Look at this. And it does appear that the defenses are faltering. They're wavering. Their numbers are thinning. And the question is, are the defenders going to send up reinforcements? Or are they going to fall back into more narrow choke points and set up a second layer of defense? By the looks of it, well, it's still tough to say because they're still, even though their numbers are low, the Carthaginians and the Egyptians still have a healthy amount of troops. And here comes a clash. Look at this. The Thuros spears, who are one Javi away from being a skirmisher unit. In a very smart play by the Egyptians to charge into these spears and to deny potentially more volleys of Javis from these spears. And they're actually going to fall back, which makes sense. They want to make sure they use up all their ammo. But look at this, the Egyptians won't let them go. They move forward, and the Galatians are going to replace the Pontic spears. And these are Galatian legionaries. These are no mindless Galatian swords. Now these guys are way better than the Galatian swords. And now the spears of Pontus join their ally. They rally, they see the glorious Galatian legionaries go in, and they're like, yes, brothers, I'm inspired. And they go back in. Now we got great archer flanking fire coming down on the defenders. And the Pontic Celtic warriors, mercenary Celtic warriors, are starting to chip away at the defenders. We do have some mercenary infantry from the Carthaginians trying to maintain this flank where the infantry is falling against the Celtic warriors. This mercenary troop is going to push in and try to maintain it, but they are experiencing a wrath of arrows, which feels like it's coming from the heavens above. The gods have cursed them this day. They've abandoned them. It is what it is. Anyways, here we go. Syracuse moving up some archers. These are no Cretan archers, but archers nonetheless. And they are more than capable of amassing a lot of kills. So they're going to get in position, but honestly, at this point, I think they should save their ammo. I think the infantry is doing more than enough to push back the defenders, as Galatia really focuses a lot of their infantry, really concentrating on the center position there, which makes sense. It's the healthiest unit of Libyan infantry. A strong infantry for the Carthaginian army. Let's head back over to this side. We have Pontus. Look at this. Pontus putting up a little bit of a fight. Almost seems like a sacrificial move by the Pontic swordsmen, who fight not for themselves, not for their country, but for their brothers. Now, it looks like he's putting up a little bit of a speed bump against the Iceni, preventing reinforcements from streaming down and supporting this main fight over here. And oh my gosh, look at this. They have punctured through the defense, and they now stream through like high pressurized water. I don't know, these analogies. But the Galatian legionaries try to take advantage of this, and they almost got these archers by surprise, these skirmishers by surprise. And now the slingers, at this point, you don't want to get your slingers caught. So maybe they're worried that they're going to soon die here and they're going to exhaust their ammo. But I still think they have time to evacuate these slingers out of here through this thin little pass. But the Galatians kind of bit off more than they could chew, and their desperation to cut down the enemy archers, they have now found themselves surrounded, and on top of that, experiencing the wrath of the slingers, who nearly died from their blades. Oh, but the slingers are experiencing a taste of their own medicine, but not in a form of a small stone, but in the piercing death of an arrow. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh, the slingers getting just rained on by arrows. And is it the Galatians? Yes, the Galatian Syrian archers. Syrian archers, probably, if not the greatest archer. There's few who can match the Syrian archers. And the Galatians are using them to the best of their ability, absolutely obliterating these slingers to a point where they are virtually useless. They're basically just pincushions absorbing arrows. That's about all they can do at this point. They're in such a terrible position. And up here, they might as well shove a sword through their bellies, because there is no escape unless they go out the honorable way and fight to the death. Because it looks like they are stuck up here. What was once a hill that symbolized a great defense has now become a grave. Their own tomb. This is where they will rest for eternity. Here comes a charge from the Thero spears. Honestly, that's more than enough to kill these slingers in close combat. The other slinger unit either is looking in a frantic rush of anxiety and escape, or they're creating some distance so they can sling with what left they have of their ammo into the flank of those Thero spears, but it's not going to be enough. The Thero spears just slaughtered the slingers, and those slingers witnessed their brothers die a painful death, and now death has come to their doorstep. The Thero spears seeking vengeance for all the fallen brothers that have died from the hands of these cowardice men that use such tools of war. There's no honor in killing an enemy so far away without seeing his eyes leave the life of his body. So, They cleared it out. Well done. Now over here, the Carthaginians still maintain a battle line, and you can see after such carnage, look at this, such carnage. The attackers, an unrelenting ocean, a wave of death and justice, continue to smash upon the defenses of the Carthaginians, and the Carthaginians now committing in their own personal Samnite warriors to try to maintain this line. And as good as the Samnite warriors are, they're so heavily outnumbered that it's very likely that they will fall soon enough. Now it looks like the general has mobilized with torches, and they light aflame the towers of the defenders to save their own men and to burn out the archers that cowered within these towers. An absolute disgusting front line here. A long battle line. An absolute disgusting fight, guys. And here comes some Cav support. The general's bodyguard making a silly play right here. A bizarre and strange play. He sees in his rage of fury, he is blinded by his anger and makes a careless play as he has his eyes. He gets tunnel vision on these Syrian archers and tries to hammer his way through Pontic spears. And yes, though he's made it through the spears, at what cost? At what cost did he achieve such a move, such a tactic? The general's bodyguard is going to be chipped down. Look at this, already down to 11 men. What was the meaning for this? The Carthaginians now have lost their general in a rage of fury, where his anger took the best of him, and his nearsightedness led to the death of not only the general, but the death of the hope of the Carthaginians and the general's personal guard. Now the Carthaginians, seeing their general throw his life away, begin to falter. They begin to break, and they flee to the inner workings of the settlement. Now back over on here, there's a thin defense of Carthaginians who have not gotten word of the general's death, but nonetheless, they are no match to these Galatian legionaries, and they will soon break. They'll break away from this position. And just like that, guys, it almost feels like the Carthaginian army has been evaporated, have been wiped off the face of this earth. And now we can see what's left of the attackers. There's still a lot of angry troops. Syracuse still has a lot of thorax hoplites ready to fight, fresh and ready to mingle. We have the Syrian archers that are going to now take advantage of this defensive hill that became the grave of the Carthaginian slingers. They will use this like a great pedestal to announce their hatred in form of arrows. And they will let loose their arrows down into the hearts of the bowmen of Egypt. And these bowmen are no match. Not only would they be no match on an even field, but with such advantage the Syrians have, they stand no chance. It's absolutely urgent that the Egyptians save these men's lives and retreat them and use them at a different time in the battle, because right now they're in a huge disadvantage. All they are just pin cushions absorbing arrows. They're virtually doing nothing. Now back over this way, the attack does not slow down. The attack continues. Iceni with the chosen swords band, some of the finest soldiers of Iceni. but they are no match, and they're going to be reinforced with a fresh unit of chosen swordsmen. And when I say they are no match, I don't mean through skill, I mean through numbers. But they will try to hold this flank as long as possible. And the Galatians are going to take advantage of their numbers and the fact that they are not properly protecting every flank. Flank? What's a flank? Anyways, they're going to try to use the walls here to flank around. But the Iceni do move up a third unit of chosen band. Right? Is that the third? No, that's the second one. So they have the secondary unit of the chosen swordsmen watching the flank, using their projectiles, doing everything they can to support their brothers in blue. Now Egypt has fallen back into the great valley of this settlement, where they will be able to hold back the mass numbers of enemies with few troops, using a combined force of thorax swordsmen and spears. And it seems to be highly effective. It's highly effective as the attacking forces fall back, but they regain their strength. They push up some Pontic swordsmen, ready to answer back. I'm pretty sure yeah, there it is. Answer back through a fury of javies, absolutely slicing these men. Look at that. They have lost so many troops in one little volley. And not only are they experiencing the frontal hatred of the Pontic swords that lie in front of them, but also from the heavens above, the gods smite thee. And these thorax swordsmen think, what thou have we done to anger the gods? And so here comes a charge of thorough spears from the Syracuse tribe. And they continue to fight into the valley of this great settlement. And over here, the Iceni general has focused his concentration on maintaining this flank because he realizes if this falls, their main defense in the center of the settlement will be exposed. And Iceni using their chosen swordsmen still to this day. And they're actually chipping away at the attackers, but again, the numbers are becoming an issue. And then we have the chosen swordsmen. This is still the same secondary unit of chosen swordsmen. They're just sitting there waiting for Syracuse to commit with their hoplites. Notice how they're on the walls. I think he's hoping to use these hoplites. Yeah, I almost think the general here of the Syracuse clan was hoping to use the projectiles. I don't know, either they're out, but he decides to charge them in to try to flank the chosen swordsmen, and that is why the secondary chosen swordsmen commit to protect their fellow brothers in arms. And here we go. Once again, numbers becoming an issue for the Iceni tribe. They need to continue to send more troops over here. This is going to be a big problem if these troops can get around. And sure enough, look at this. Like out of thin air, painted ones. They appear like ghosts to the eyes of the Syracuse, or so the records are told. But then decide to fall back and then decide to charge in again. Great confusion amongst the lines of the Iceni. But they do commit against the hatred of the Syracuse tribe. And the painted ones. The painted ones looking like they're gonna go tour around America and eat delicious burgers. Like that guy. Literally, what's his guy? Whatever. I forgot. The chef. He's cool. Anyways, chosen swords go back to the fight. The painted ones decided to fall back in the most anticlimactic way possible. I thought they were going to be the turn of the tide. Anyways, in the center, my goodness. The Egyptian defense has been laid wasted. Look at this. Just absolutely conquered. Absolutely vanquished against the might of the Galatian and Pontic alliance. And now they push to conquer the center position. But that is not the victory point. At this magnificent Stonehenge, sorry. This is the victory point. This is the objective for the attackers. If they truly want to take the settlement and claim it for their own, they have to conquer these majestic and somewhat magical Stonehenges. Or so the legend is told. The legend is that these hedges will never be conquered. But against such stories, the attackers attack nonetheless. For they will break that curse, for the gods are on their side. And here comes a huge flank from the Pontic soldiers who bring up the naked ones. And surely the Iceni troops know that this will be their last. But they will fight on until the final breath of life leave their mouth. There we go. Just like that, the Iceni fall thanks to the aggressive push by the Pontic troops. And soon they will gain control of this eastern northern gate. And so the forces have claimed a huge chunk of the settlement, but their work here is not done yet. They must take those cursed Stonehenges. They must take this final stand. And it's up to the Egyptians, Iceni. I don't know if the Carthaginians are still in the fight. They could have some hidden troops. But it's going to come down to this right here as we're halfway. It feels like we're at the end, but we're only halfway through this battle. And we'll see how this will progress. And so, Syracuse charges in their troops. Experiencing a wrath of Javies from the Thorax swordsman, and they will experience another wave of Javies and are utterly getting crushed by this bulwark defense. Look at this, the Thorax swordsman. I don't know if that was a sacrificial strategy there to try to exhaust the projectile ammunition of the swordsman, or it was just a miscalculation. But whatever the cost, whatever the initial plan, the cost will be the lives of these thorough spearmen. Mothers will lose their sons, families will lose their fathers, and the young will not ripen to an old age. So a nice little stand right there, and it looks like because of that maneuver, the attackers have decided to mobilize their forces on the left flank, where they believe the defense is weaker. We have Syrian archers set up in a great position. They have to fire uphill, but nonetheless, these are trained soldiers, highly trained archers. The way of the bow. While you were out partying and just goofing off, the Syrian archers were learning the ways of the bow. Okay, anyways. Syracuse sending in the Thorax hoplites. But standing against them is a wall of troops, the Thorax swordsmen. And since the walls are conquered, the men must be the walls now. And I think the thorax swordsmen for the Egyptians will hold for a long time. They're gonna have to send up more troops and potentially some archer support to try to break down these thorax swordsmen. And look at this, the Egyptians are sending in more reinforcements, thorough spears. Some long spears. Let's look at the thorax swordsmen cheer as they see reinforcements arrive to help bolster the front line. But the attackers have some reinforcements of their own. A depleted unit of Galatian legionaries who have already stole 114 lives this day, eager to steal some more like the Grim Reaper. Here comes a charge of mercenary naked swords, moving in quickly without the burden of heavy armor. And they strike fear in the eyes of the thorax swordsmen. But yet the thorax swordsmen recover, and they continue to make their stand against such chaotic warriors. Now over on the right flank, the attackers test the steel of the thorax swordsmen, the Egyptian thorax swordsmen once again. And instead of some thorough spears, or thorax spears they're throwing in, now they're throwing in the Galatian legionaries. A unit that is worthy of the thorax swordsman. And then back in reserve, they've got one unit of a healthy, fresh Galatian legionary that is eager for action. They've yet to see any action, and here we go with full energy, charging in, uphill. They don't care. It's a little, it's burning their calves a little, but the adrenaline pumping through their veins. They feel no pain, only hatred. Hatred for the Egyptians and their cursed Stonehenge. Anyways, meanwhile over here, it looks like the Egyptian wall of men continue to hold against the waves and waves of enemy forces. In the back here, we have some Pontic swordsmen resting, ready to charge whenever their commander calls them in. We've got another unit of Pontic swords moving forward. And yes, the Egyptians have been putting up a fantastic defense, but do they have enough to withstand the numerous numbers from the attacking forces? And sure enough, Iceni has some chosen swordsman, a very elite infantry, and they are letting them rest, trying to use all of the potential of these Egyptian swordsmen before they go in, hoping that the Egyptians can weaken the attackers as much as possible before they commit into the fight. And so they've committed, or at least they're moving forward. They're getting close to commitment. I think they're just getting ready. They have cold feet, so they say. Now over here, we've got archers in position. Nubian bowmen ready to attack. Hopefully they have ammo left over. Back over this way, the Egyptians, just like their comrades over on the right flank, they too hold like a stone wall. The enemy forces act only like waves on a rock, smashing into the stone wall, but not breaking through. But maybe, just maybe, with all these Galatian legionaries, they will be able to break through this Egyptian stand. Back over this way, the stand of the Egyptians, just like the other flank, continues to hold. And it is most likely they will hold and defeat the initial force that is ahead of them, unless the attackers move in more reinforcements, which it looks like they are. Mercenary, naked warriors. The thunder that you hear is not of their feet, but of their members slapping on their thighs. Okay, all right. Anyways. Oh. Back over this way. Syracuse with 3 units of hoplites. These guys, though they're not known for their killing, they're known for their maintaining of front lines. And honestly, this is going to be a big problem for the defenders because they're so tanky. Oh, but look at this. We have Egyptian pikemen. Are they of the greatest of pikes? No. But they will certainly get the job done. Yeah, they'll do it. So they're gonna move forward. They should move forward. The Galatians are struggling against these Egyptian thorax swordsmen. Truly unbelievable. But over here, tragedy has struck the hearts of the Egyptian infantry. They are tired. They have lost many brothers. And they're losing the will to fight. Especially with those naked warriors. Pontic swordsmen come in to replace the naked warriors that have fallen back. And it's at this moment that the chosen swordsmen should be sent in to bolster up the numbers. But yet they wait. The most pristine opportunity. Now's the time for the attackers to use what's left of their projectiles, which honestly is looking like it's not much. They need to use archers on these pikemen. Oh, but what a position. What a mighty fine position by the Egyptians and the Iceni. They're using this cliff to throw projectiles down to flank the Galatian legionaries. And I'm looking back here and there are archers. Oh, but they're out of ammo and they are exhausted. You can hear the men throwing up. They are completely out of ammo. What about over here? Do these archers have ammo? Oh no. This is not good. Have the gods forsaken the attackers and now turn their favor to the defenders, impressed by their brave and glorious stand? The defenders are making a comeback. Since the attackers did not manage their ammunition, they have no answer. No answer to the pikemen. Stop! Oh, but they're using their javies the best they can. And it is somewhat effective, but how many more javies do they have? The Egyptians drop their spears and pierce the belly of these Galatians. Soon the defenders are running out of troops. They most likely will have to send in this chosen swordsman to this front, because it does appear that the defenders over on this front are winning. And the fact that they sent in some royal peltis, the Egyptian general's own personal guard, veteran men in the peak of their ability, fighting and holding, they most likely will defeat this initial force that they're engaged against. So it's probably pretty vital for the attackers to send up reinforcements, which they do. They got to send them up this way. We have 15 minutes left in this battle, guys. Can you believe it? It feels like there should be only 5 minutes left. But you know what I think it is? It's the accursed Stonehenge that is laid upon a curse on the attackers. Oh, how naive the attackers have been, thinking they could confront this curse and break the curse. The defenders, at this point, though exhausted, though have lost many brothers, have found hope and once again believe that they could win this fight. But that will not last long, as the thorough spears have found a gap in the lines and are now facing the painted ones. Now back over this way. The fight still rages on. The Pontic general has joined the fray, but he realizes what carelessness he's showing and decides to fall back and to regroup. The painted ones instead take their place. The defense here is starting to break. It's starting to bend. But the attackers still have quite the force to break through. They've got painted ones they have to fight through. They're sending in Levy Freeman. It's actually quite surprising that they still have Levy Freeman in this battle. Painted ones coming again like ghost. Vanishing and appearing in thin air. How is that possible? How could that be? The ancient historians truly don't know. But it came to them in a dream. Their trousers are magical. It can make them vanish and reappear. Or so the legends are told. Iceni continues to hold with painted ones. Iceni continues to... Oh. No. It's the accursed Stonehenge. Vanishing and reappearing more troops. Or so that is the rumor from the reports on the attackers. That is what they saw. Troops appearing from the Stonehenge out of thin air. How could this be? What sorcery is this? And we got some chosen swordsmen. And then, oh, we got the general over here as well. So they still have a lot of troops, guys. And they could actually break. Look at this. They could actually break a lot of forces. And it almost feels like the defenders almost gave the attackers a false sense of security. Where the attackers have been, I wouldn't say they're careless, but they just kind of like, they're going through the motions right now because they believe they have superior numbers. And because of that, it does appear that the attackers might possibly fall this day, as the balance of power is in favor by a considerable amount of the defenders. My goodness. Is this all that is left of the attacking force? The gods truly must have abandoned the attackers. Yeah, they only have like archers. My goodness. Look at this. The Iceni charging out, taking on the noble horse. And it looks like the attackers are desperate. They're moving in their generals. They're moving in archers with no ammo, because that is all that they have left. Glacia trying to go for the serpent's head, trying to kill the Royal Peltis, the general that lies within the Royal Peltis. They continue to break through using their might to hunt down the archers of Iceni, these Britain slingers. But as that chaos is unraveling over on the right flank, what's left of the attackers will soon be shattered against the wall of the painted ones. And so, through the actions of today, their infamy will live on and echo through eternity. The chosen swordsman coming to reinforce this front. And it does appear that they are going to surround the Egyptian general. The Egyptian general forms square formation. It almost looks like the defenders got a little too confident there. And look at this. Like the Battle of Hastings. They thought victory was theirs, and they charge out only to be trampled by Cav. An unbelievable charge by the Hippias Lancers. And just like that, the Egyptians lose a very important core to their army. And out of desperation, their allies send forward their chosen swordsmen. But their actions are in vain, as the Egyptian general has been gutted like a pig. His carelessness led to his death. And now the Galatians will continue to use their noble horse, which the chieftain rides, and once again gets a brutal charge. Why are they leaving their generals open for cav charges is beyond me. Unbelievable, guys. And why are they sallying out? They're hoping to slaughter what's left, maybe hoping to cause a mass break in the lines. But out of their desperation, in their cockiness, they find only death. Well, actually, they are breaking these archers, so good on them. The painted ones, they probably need to go back up here. And help the... just keep your army together. But here we go. Cretan archers. No, these are just normal archers. From Syracuse, they hike this hill. Though they know they face a superior enemy, they fight anyways. A truly noble cause by these archers, but it might be their undoing. Oh my gosh! Syracuse with the Hippias Lancers! Coming in! He sees the bravery in the hearts of these archers and wants to save their men, to spare their men. Oh my gosh, what is going on, bro? This is crazy. Why are they doing this? It's just like they're throwing the battle away.
Quickly now. All right.
The attackers, mostly just their deadliest forces are their cav units. And by sallying out, by pushing out like this, you're playing to the hand of the attackers with their cav.
Right forward.
The Galatian general is breaking though, so that's good news. And the painted ones, though a superior soldier in close range to these archers, are heavily outnumbered and their flank is exposed. So this unit of Hippias Lancers, now with almost 200 kills, are gonna pinball around and smash into the enemy. Oh my gosh. And they're breaking the painted ones. And now we have chosen swordsman. Guys, keep in mind the balance of power is in favor of the defenders still. This is still anyone's game. The chosen swordsman tailing the Hippias Lancers, who now make a race to the accursed Stonehenge. But they are getting shot by towers afar. And they charge in to the spears, the swords, the chosen swords. This is a desperate stand, but guys, the chosen swords break upon the numerous numbers of archers and the general of Syracuse, the Hippias Lancers. My goodness. But the balance of power, how could this be? Still in favor? Not of thee, but of their enemies. Though it seems that they have fled, that is not true, as the chosen swordsman sting like a bee. I don't know. It looks like they are running down the enemy, and it does appear. Wait, how could this be? Seriously, like, the balance of power is like even now, And the archers are getting chewed up. I just don't see how this is possible. Okay, so we got chosen swordsman. That's what's left. What's left? What is this? We've got crew. Okay, there we go. There we go. My goodness. And so the curse of the Stonehenge still stands strong. Any who dare attack this settlement will face the wrath of the Stonehenge curse. And even though the defenders nearly threw this all away, they still come out on top thanks to the discipline and might of the chosen swordsman, or the chosen swordsman, whatever. All right, the rest is just players not wanting to forfeit. So I'm gonna fast forward and get us to the end result. All right, there you have it, guys. The battle is over. And this was a great battle because, one, it was super close. Two, the person who sent it in, they lost the battle, which 99% of the time that doesn't happen. Which really sucks because it's like, hey, come on, send in your defeats too. Like, it's nice to surprise the viewer, right? Because most of the time people just assume the person who sends in the replay wins. And, I mean, most of the time they're right. But this is a great one. So this was another battle by Ellington. He played as the Galatians. And everybody did fantastic, especially the Iceni, getting the most kills here. But look at this. Everyone carried their weight. It was so close. It's just that end there with the Egyptians. They did a great job with that stand. And just their thorax swords, heroes of the day. So that was a lot of fun, guys. I hope you enjoyed this battle as much as I did. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. Hopefully I'll get some more out soon. I do appreciate the support, and I'll see you next time on the battlefield.